What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Kizuna clash. Now, this starts tomorrow as of me recording this video, and when it's uploaded, this is coming out tomorrow. So you want to be getting prepped, plan your teams out so that you can be prepared for when this drops tomorrow, because you want to be getting into it straight away, because as soon as this event drops, there's going to be an island on Extra Island where you can farm up a brand new character. Now, the character that's going to be available is going to be a brand new Sengoku character. This Sengoku unit is a Neo version of the story mode version of Sengoku, and this unit on paper is pretty interesting, but the main reason why you want him is because he helps you a lot in this Kizuna clash. I believe he also gives you additional stats or something like that. Assistance quest will be available where you can recruit Neo Sengoku who'll be boosted and powered up during the Kizuna clash. So this Sengoku unit is a Dex Fighter Cerebral. His special effect reduces the cooldowns of all characters by 1 turn, which is pretty good. And then if you're in a Kizuna clash, reduces increased defense by 4 turns and reduces paralysis by 4 turns. This special ability is going to be good for almost all variations. Pretty much every variation is going to benefit with having this guy on your team. So I would suggest farming it up, picking him up. It's going to definitely help you out. So back over to the subreddit, of course, the subreddit Discord. When you are building your teams, you want to making sure that you are looking at the boosted units here, because these boosted units will all have double stats, which obviously makes a big difference. And they all get a bunch of cooldown as well. So making sure that if you have some of these units, you really want to be using them. Kind of odd though that the World Journey Boa, Mihawk, and Crocodile are going to be boosted here. I believe that when this event came out, the World Journey banner also released with these units. So it's a bit weird that they didn't re-release that banner, because like hardly anyone on Global has these units, because even when they first released on Global, their rates were terrible. So hardly anyone has any of these units. So it's a bit weird that they're here. I don't remember exactly what they do. I know they all have utility-based effects, but like basically no one has them. And then obviously the new Kizuna Rare Recruit Akainu, which was in the Sugo Fest. This Akainu is going to be boosted, of course. The new Sengoku from that Extra Island quest. Then the whole Luffy Zoro badge, Treasure Map X Drake. The free-to-play Otama from the ranking event is also boosted, and also 6+ Lucy. So there's a pretty decent amount of characters that you can get access to here. So what we're going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be showing you guys essentially what each of the bosses do, and I'll show you guys the teams that I have planned for taking these events on. I might be changing my teams as I go along. I do have free-to-play teams planned that I'll be showing off in tomorrow's video for the Kizuna Clash. So if you want free-to-play teams, I'll be showing them off tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. But I'll be showing you guys the teams that I think I'm going to be planning to use in this upcoming Kizuna Clash. So let's go ahead and get into it. I have a notepad here. A massive shout out to the FateOfMuffins for posting this a few months ago, which actually breaks down pretty much what you should be expecting for this upcoming Kizuna Clash. So a massive shout out to him, but I've also tallied it all up into a notepad, so it's a little bit easier to consume. So in this Kizuna Clash, the first boss is the quick boss. Strength, Dex, and Psi characters get 15 turns of cooldown reduction. So once again, if you guys don't know how to build teams or utilizing these very powerful resources in the database, you want to be using the database, and then once you've figured out, you know, which characters you want to be using, you can filter by Strength, Dex, and Psi characters, and then for certain classes, you can filter out certain classes if you want to, and then you can filter out certain special effects or whatever you want, right? So that's the best way to use the database in terms of building teams for Kizuna Clash, Treasure Map, whatever it is, right? Well, Treasure Map has the Treasure Map Teambuilder, but anything else, this is the best resource to do so. So make sure you are abusing the database. So you want to be bringing Dex, Strength, and Psi characters for this event. For the second stage, you're going to be up against Vista. He's a quick unit. He has approximately 700,000 HP. And a good thing is that because the boss is quick, the mini-boss is also quick this time around. Typically, they'll like switch it up because it's a quick boss. You bring Dex characters, and then they'll make the mini-boss Strength, so it makes the mini-boss a little bit difficult. But in this event, all of the mini-bosses have the same typing as the main final boss, which is good, right? So it makes clearing the mini-bosses much easier. So with the mini-boss, 700,000 HP approximately, give or take. But it also has the preemptive attack of 4 turns of enemy defense, so it's the blue shield buff, and then also reduces your chain coefficient reduction also by 4 turns. So that new Sengoku character that we pointed out earlier, he can actually be used here, if I could type correctly. Sengoku, Dex. This Neo Sengoku has the ability to remove increased defense by 4 turns, so he will help you out a lot. with getting rid of this, right? So you want to be using him here. And then, of course, with all of the mini-bosses, if you don't kill them by turn 3, you get special reverse. Not very good. Now, the final boss, for the quick variation of Marco and Ace, he will have delay immunity, so you can reduce his defense, and you can poison or toxic him to get the conditional boost. He also burns you for 3 turns. That's really annoying that he'll burn you. Also, your health is cut by 10%. Now, I'm not really 100% sure if it's a 10% cut or if it's just like a certain amount of damage. It looked like a 10% HP cut. And then also changes all of your crew slots into block orbs. After the first turn, he will cut your health in half and give you normal attacks only. And when you actually kill him, he revives with 30% of his HP. Now, this is pretty annoying because he recovers with 30%, not 25 or 20%. If you recovered with 25 or 30%, you could just use Ambush Garp to wipe him out. But he does recover with a lot of HP, and especially in those high nav levels, or no, higher Kizuna Clash levels, this 30% HP will end up being like millions and millions of HP, so it's pretty annoying. So you need to make sure that you have a unit that can actually remove this burn. Because of that burn, you will be taking that damage after he revives. So it's a pretty big deal. You need to be very careful. And obviously, if you go ahead and try and cut his HP, he's going to fully heal. Now, the thing is here is that when you kill him and he revives, he will activate this after the first turn. So he cuts your health in half and you're taking burn damage. Like, it's a lot, right? So you really do need to bring a unit to remove the burn. Well, I would suggest anyway. And anyways, let's move on to the team that I'm going to suggest for this one. So if I go to load, and this is versus quick, this is the team that I'm opting to build. Now, of course, this is extremely pay to win. If you guys want a free-to-play team, as I said, I'll be uploading free-to-play teams in my video tomorrow. So the way that this team is working is against Stage 2 with Vista, where he has the increased defense and the chain coefficient production. With this team, every time we attack with our Dex characters, they're going to be receiving Wano slots, so that's not really a big problem. We can kill him over a few turns, and it will be able to kill. We can break through because we've got Carrot and the 2 captains, which are both boosted, so they just give you so much damage. I would highly suggest bringing Luffy Zoro for 2 of these boss variations here, if you do have them, or if you can have friend captains for him. It definitely makes a big difference. And then for the final boss stage, so once again, we get burnt. This Sabo is going to be really, really good because he can give us 2 turns of color affinity, which this Carrot can also do, but the Sabo gives color affinity to strength, psi, and dex, whereas the Carrot only gives it to free spirit. So the Gangsta Gastino does not get affected by that. Also, speaking of Gangsta Gastino, he gives you 3 turns of a conditional boost, which is really good. So even after the revive, you can go ahead and just get multiple turns of that. And yes, Sabo removes the burn and he gives color affinity. So we can have the Luffy Zoro special, which will be the 2 times ore boost, just to be a little bit conservative on that. Then we'll have the Sabo special. We'll have the Sober Mask special, which will be able to launch twice, so the 2.5 multiplier, and we'll have the conditional boost. Now, this does not include the stat boosts. It does not include cotton candies or support effects. Everyone will have a tandem slot, by the way, or a Wano slot. So this is a lot of damage right here. This is huge, right? And of course, we're only going to activate 1 Luffy Zoro special because on the revive, we can then activate the secondary Zoro special, which will give us this. No, it'll be the dual unit, this unit right here, like that. And that'll be active. This will not be active, but yeah, and then that gives additional damage on the revive as well. So this is the team that I'm planning to use. Obviously the Sengoku, the free-to-play Sengoku unit, he is pretty good to use here as well, but I'm not 100% sure. If he gives extra tickets, I might try and fit him on the team somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure if he gives you extra tickets. But this is what I'm planning for against the quick variation. Moving on to the second boss is the Dex variation. So you get 15 turns of cooldown to Strength, Dex, and Int characters this time around. Once again, if you're on the database, you want to filter by Strength, Dex, and Int characters to ensure you get the right characters that are boosted on your team. Now, moving on to what the boss actually does. So stage 2 is against Izo this time around. Izo, I think, has about approximately 700,000 HP. But there's an additional 500,000 HP with an HP barrier. So it equals up to about 1.2 million, give or take, HP, which is pretty annoying. Also, 3 turns of Special Bind. Also, 4 turns of Paralysis. Also, 5 turns of Strength, Dex, and Quick slots have increased chances of appearing. This mini-boss absolutely sucks. This mini-boss just does way too much stuff. So you need units that can remove Special Bind and units that can remove Paralysis. Luckily, this Neo Sengoku that's going to be available has the effect to reduce Paralysis by 4 turns. So what you will need instead is just a unit to remove Special Bind. And if you do opt to use Luffy and Zoro on your team somewhere, their switch ability can remove Special Bind as well with their switch effect. So that's really nice to be utilizing that to use their switches to remove the Special Bind instead. So that is also a pretty decent option if you do have them. Otherwise, bringing a Special Bind remover will be kind of required here. And then, of course, after turn 3, if you don't kill them, special reverse gets inflicted, and you essentially lose at that point. Moving on to the final boss stage against Marco and Ace, Dex unit. They got 98 turns of full immunity, so you cannot apply a conditional boost here unless if you bring like 6+ Usopp and then a delay conditional booster, but not really required. Another thing here that's really annoying, 2 turns of a 2-hit Dex slot barrier. Slot barriers are probably one of the worst debuffs in this game. I hate slot barriers so goddamn much. And you have to deal with this one. So, because it's a 2-turn barrier, bringing someone to remove 2 turns of barrier obviously is going to be really good. And the number one character that would come to mind would be someone like Treasure Map Shanks, because you can use his special twice in the same turn, give you some matching slots, tap timing bonus damage, and he's a free-to-play unit. So, I would ideally suggest Treasure Map Shanks, and then like Luffy, Zoro, Captain is like the most ideal situation here. Also, you get a full board of badly matching slots, which Treasure Map Shanks can counteract. After turn 1, your health is cut by 50%, and I'm not too sure about this one. This might be incorrect. I don't know what actually happens after turn 1. I can't remember that one, but I do know that, yes, with this one, you will get the interruptive HP cut. That's pretty much every single boss will have that certain effect there, so... Yeah, there isn't really too much to this boss. As long as you remove the barrier and get some matching slots, it's pretty easy. Like, most of the annoyance actually comes from stage 2, which is kind of odd. So the team that I'm suggesting, or not really suggesting, but it's the team that I'm thinking about using is against the Dex variation, which is a full-on strength team here. Now, with this team, we've got the Bonnie, which can remove the paralysis and the special bind, so she can just remove all those really annoying debuffs there. Shanks, as I said, is really good for removing that barrier. We've got Lucci for color affinity, and we've also got the attack boost of Sabo and Coalla. Unfortunately, the attack boost of Sabo and Coalla does not boost Lucci. I did try putting in, like, the strength Whole Cake Island Brook, who's a free spirit unit, gives color affinity. But with Lucci, he's a 2x color affinity versus a 1.75 with Brook. So it actually ends up calculating more damage if you opt to bring Lucci instead of the Whole Cake Island Brook. But it's up to you. And obviously, double Luffy and Zoro. So let's go ahead and calc this out and see how much damage we can get. Now, of course, it's going to be tricky to get tandem slots or the Wano slots on these characters. I mean, we'll probably get one on Shanks really early, but because stage 2 is EZO, we can just continuously attack with our strength units, and they're guaranteed to get Wano slots, so it's not really a big issue there. So with this team, we're going to have we'll make it 2x all boost just to be conservative. And then we've got the attack boost. We have the tap timing bonus damage. We have the color affinity. So again, this is 52 million, but that does not include the Kizuna stat boost. It does not include Cotton Candy's support effects. So this is essentially, and plus, yeah, that should be doubled plus more, right? So this is going to be a pretty serious amount of damage. Now, something else that's pretty interesting is the Marco and Ace unit that you get from the Kizuna mode. You could actually use it on this team. So if we just go Marco real quick and we filter dual units. Now this Marco and Ace unit could actually be used on this team because their special ability will go ahead and be a 2.75 times attack boost to strength characters. Their cooldown is quite high, but of course, if you go ahead and try and get as much cooldown as you possibly can in this Kizuna mode, plus they get 15 turns of cooldown at the start, plus of all the cooldown reductions from the host ship, sockets and stuff, I think you could probably use them in this team. It would maybe require some stalling mechanics of some kind, but this is not a terrible character to use. So at the end of the day, you could potentially run something like this with Ace, run the Ace Marco unit, get a tandem slot, and then that would be a 2.75 times attack boost instead, which would enhance your damage even more. So that is a potential option, but I think Sabo and Coalla for now would be pretty decent, unless if there's someone else to use, because attaching the support Sabo to Luffy and Zoro would be really good, but of course if you got Sabo and Coalla as a sub, you can't really do that. So either way, that's a pretty interesting team, and as I said, a free-to-play team will be in tomorrow's video. So that is the versus Dex variation, so let's move on to the final variation. Now, the final boss variation is against the Strength boss. Now, for this one, Strength Dex Quick, pretty simple. Making sure to go over to the database and filter Strength, Quick, and Dex characters to ensure that you're good for that. Now, for the actual boss itself, stage 2 is against Oars. He's a strength unit, and he has about 700,000 HP, and he's preemptive, just gives you attack down, and that's it. 5 turns of attack down. So having someone to remove that obviously is pretty ideal. In terms of free-to-play units that can remove attack down, there aren't like too many good ones. There are a few that you could use, but there aren't that many good ones. But mainly what you want to be doing here is Sober Mask. Sober Mask with his captain action, if you have both of them active, both of the captain actions can just attack and then just kill him. Even one of them I think will be enough to kill, so that's something. And if you don't kill him by turn 3, he gives you special reverse once again. Now against the final boss against Marco and Ace, this is what they do. So they're going to have a preemptive attack of delay immunity, and defense down immunity. So you have to try and apply a poison conditional boost, or that's it. Like, you just don't get a conditional boost. So it's pretty annoying. Or you could use Onami. Now that I'm thinking about it, Onami could actually work. That's something that I might have to think about, actually. So for the Despair, he gives you 5 turns of Despair and 1 turn of Special Reverse to your captains only. Now, this is where that Sengoku character comes in, because he reduces cooldowns by 1 turn, because it's only your captains that get the Special Reversed. So you could do that. But again, if you've got Sober Mask as both of your captains, their captain action will just avoid the Reverse and the Despair. So that's good. After turn 1, again, I'm not really sure if that's a thing or not, but then they do have this effective. If you HP gut them, they're going to fully recover their HP, which is pretty annoying to deal with. So the team, I've got an idea of a team, but after just thinking about that, with Onami, because that's a pretty good option, actually, because there's no, like, the boss doesn't cut your health or anything, so I'll have to think about that. Either way, with this boss, this is the team that I'm thinking about, because we've got the attack boost and the full board of tandem slots with the Sober Mask. And of course, when we use both of their specials, we get a 2.5 times attack boost instead, which is very, very strong. We're going to have Luffy and Law for the 2.5 orb boost. We're going to have the Prometheus, Big Mom, and Zeus for the stat boost and the chain lock. We're going to have the Raid Douglas Bullet, which will cut their health, which means they're going to heal back. But we get 2 times color affinity. Oh, it's a 1.75 color affinity, because we do have Big Mom on the team. And then we've also got the Oars, who removes attack down, because you still need a unit that removes attack down. So you do have to take that into consideration. But either way, that's 91 million damage without including Kizuna stat boost, support effects, or cotton candy. So this is a pretty good amount of damage, right? So this should work for a pretty good amount of time. And I don't know, I'll have to do some thinking if I want to change this team up at all. But I mean, this is definitely the highest damage outputting team out of all the teams you guys have seen thus far. And as I said, if you guys want free-to-play teams, I'll be making free-to-play teams in tomorrow's video. But that is going to be the rundown of the upcoming Kizuna clash against the Marco and Ace. I'm really excited for this one, because Marco and Ace is just an exceptional unit, so I'm really looking forward to it. We cannot max him on the first Kizuna. I believe it's going to take 4 different Kizuna clashes for us to completely max this guy out, so it's going to take a bit of time, but it's going to be worth it. That is for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.